Hi, one film I saw this weekend was Sing Sing, uh, co-written and directed by Greg Kwedar, and the true story of members of Sing Sing's rehabilitation through the arts program, effectively a prison theatre program. We follow our main character, John Whitfield, known as Divine G, who is a devoted actor, major member of the group and the steering committee, a talented leading man, and a new member of the group who joins, Clarence Maclin, known as Divine Eye, who is initially somewhat reticent. He appears to be there somewhat unwillingly, but gradually starts to open up and participate as the group rehearse and perform a new production, a comedy about time travel. And the two men gradually develop a close friendship, concerned about their future in the program, their future in prison, potential parole, and their own inner emotional lives as they learn to be able to express themselves more fully in an environment where they might well spend the rest of their lives. It's a fascinating story, and it's one that definitely deserves to be told, in particular because Macklin is actually played by himself. And many of the cast members are actually former inmates who were part of the RTA program. Whitfield himself is played by Colman Domingo, but Whitfield did in fact co-write the screenplay with Macklin, Kwedar, and several other collaborators. Um, the problem with the film is that it winds up being incredibly superficial. Everything is stripped down to what furthers the story, what develops the next scene, and there is very little time for introspection about the characters, about the system, about how these people came to be there, about any kind of context. I feel it's very late in the film that we discover what crime Whitfield committed to be convicted, although he maintains that he is innocent. He is clearly now a free man, so he was either paroled or his conviction was overturned. The film is not clear on that point. Um, but the lack of information we find, the lack of background, the lack of context makes this a hard film to engage with. I want to know more. I want to find out more about these people and about why they are locked within this situation. Why is Macklin so reluctant to be part of the program, and yet he's clearly there out of choice? Perhaps he's there because he is hoping that it will help his parole chances. But there's little attempt to get under the surface of things, and the result is a film that it feels like somewhat does a disservice to these men and their genuine efforts to reform. Um, it's it's fascinating because of its trappings, as I say, filmed in real prisons with real former prison inmates. But the lack of any real depth to it and the lack of any real detail means that it winds up being hard to engage with and not really as uh, stimulating, I think, as it should be. This should be asking more complex questions than what's going on. It should be asking much more detailed questions. Instead, we're simply being told a story and not being invited to think on these terms a great deal more. And I think that's very disappointing. I can't help feeling that the praise the film has got from generally liberal quarters is attempting to demonstrate certain liberal um, ideas, rather like the success of Emilia Perez. That film is attempting to be very supportive of trans people, massively misguided in how it does it. But I think that the backlash it's had has largely been because of how badly it falls short. I think that in the case of Sing Sing, it's sincere and it's trying to really do something good. But rather than completely misreading the situation or going in the wrong direction, as Emilia Perez does, it's simply not giving you enough to really get to grips with these ideas, and it winds up just being all surface. And the result is that it's one of the more disappointing films from this award season.